It'll give you time. Okay, so we're going to start this morning with your chair handy. You're going to stand behind your chair, and just so that it's at arm's length, and start in your neutral position. So your feet are in parallel, not in first, you're in parallel. And you want your ankles and knees to be in line with your hip bones, and allow your knees to just gently soften. So it's as if you've just perched yourself. And once you're in that position, without moving anything other than your pelvis, tuck your tailbone under, really tighten into your bottom, and then just tip the other way. So we just do a gentle rocking through your pelvis. So just notice there that you're not moving in your shoulders, your arms aren't moving, you're just isolating the movement in your pelvis. Okay. And then you're going to bring your pelvis to its neutral position and try and maintain that neutral position as you lengthen your legs. Take your body weight slightly forward towards your toes and allow your heels to lift. Now, once you've got your heels lifted, I'd like you to start softening your knees and slide down an imaginary wall. Now, only go down as far as obviously your knees, your ankles and hips allow you to go, but don't lean forward and try not to be leaning back. And then lift back up, and we do that again. So keeping on the balls of your feet, just going down the wall, sliding down the wall, and then lifting back up. And sliding down. Now when you're doing this movement, just be very aware of what you're doing in your ankles. So you're not allowing the knees to flare out, you're not sickling out towards your little toes, you're staying very neutral through your ankle joint. And then as you bring yourself up, lower the heels back down, and now come into your military position. So you're in your heels together, toes apart. And you're going to raise your heels again, but try and keep everything pulled into the midline. Keep your heels lifted and send the knees out. So you go down into that little plie. Once again, keeping your back nice and long, and then pull up. And then allow the knees to go down. Try and keep your heels together. And going down, heels are off the floor. And when you bring yourself up on this last one, bring your heels down and take your feet now a little wider apart. Okay. So once again, as you bend your knees, heels are down, heels are down. Bend your knees. Have a quick check to see what's going on in your knees there. So what you don't want is for them to be dropping forward and for you to be collapsing in the arch of your foot. So push the knees out. You might want to go a bit wider. Okay, so once you're there, you're going to raise your heels. And lift up now through the legs. Keep the heels lifted and go down again into that plie. And lift up. And as you're lifting, you want to be feeling that you're just tightening up into your bottom a little bit. So remember, the knees are pushing out, they're not dropping forward. And we lift, and down, and lift. So good alignment there through your body, working through the ankles, and then lower your heels. Bring your feet back into your parallel position and step just slightly away from your chair. You're going to take a step forward and come fairly close to the chair there. So your leg is now behind you and you've still got that nice long back. So from that position, allow the heel to come in towards your bottom. And it's how close can you get your heel to your bottom without having to use any extra assistance with your hand or a towel or a band. Can you actually grab your ankle? And if not, you might just need to bring yourself around a little bit there. If you can't grab hold of your foot, maybe just grab hold of your whatever you're wearing on your legs. Now, if that is really awkward, we have a little trick, but stay with that if you've got hold of your foot. If you're having a little bit of trouble there, I'd like you, and it might not be just now, it might be when you maybe have a relook at the recording, is that when you go into this, if you bring yourself into seated, and you can do it from a sitting position. But you want to have your back straight. Pull your hips forward. And then you're going to release the leg back out. And once your leg is released back out, we're going to switch to the other side. So if you prefer to do this sitting, sit on the edge of your chair and take hold of your ankle and bring it round. So either in a sitting position or doing this from a standing position where you've got hold of your foot and you're fairly close to your chair there. So you're trying to push your hips forward, trying to bring the pubic bone towards the back of the chair there. And you might find that that's really quite a strong stretch in your thigh muscle. If you've got good length in muscles, then you won't feel it quite as strongly. But if the muscle is on the slightly shorter side or tighter side, you will feel it strongly. And just going on from the, for those of you who were in the workshop yesterday, your quadricep is part of the meridian that is associated with your stomach. So any tightness that you have in your quads is going to have some impact on the function of your digestive system. So let's release that down. Okay, so what I'd like us to do now is turn to the side, so you've got your hand on your chair on that side, and have your feet just a little wider. Okay. So you know the chair is there. Bring the arms now down by your side, tip from the hips and go into your monkey squat. From that monkey squat, raise your heels. And then just lower the heels. If you're losing any of your balance there, if you need a little bit of support, that chair's there just to allow you just to grab hold of. So your spine is straight and you're just lifting and lowering through your ankles. And then what I'd like you to do is come back up. Just rest your hand on your chair. Bring the feet slightly closer together now and raise one leg. Tip from the hips and go into your monkey squat. Now if you can do this without the chair, that's fine. And then you're going to lift and lower that one ankle up and lower. So you're still in your monkey squat position. And 4, one more, and 5. Bring the legs down and come up to stand. Raise your other leg. Tip from the hips, go into your monkey squat position, and lift and lower. the 2, and 3, 4. You might have a little bit of juddering going on if there's tight muscles there, and then come up to stand. Okay, you might find your heart rate lifting a little bit. So let's go down again, lift the leg, go into your monkey squat. You're going to lift the heel and hold it, and come up to stand. Tip back down into your monkey squat, so you're going down on an angle, and then up to stand. Down on an angle, and up to stand. Lower the heel and do that again. So with the heel down, go into your monkey squat, but with one leg lifted, and back up. Into your monkey squat, and back up. And then switch legs. Raise the heel. Go down into your monkey squat with the heel lifted to begin. And then place the heel down and continue. Push the foot into the floor. And bring the feet back down. Well, I don't know about you, but my heart's certainly lifted a bit there. So let's bring the chair now so that it's in front and you're facing the camera. And we're not sitting right back in the chair, but your feet are just about hip distance, and you're going to tip to sit back, but you're not right back in the chair, so it's not an easy sit. You're just perched on the edge there. Tip from your hips and just bring yourself up into your standing position. Go through your monkey squat to sit. Okay, so nice, easy action there. Hopefully we're all doing this when you get up and down out of your chair now. But can you do it with one leg? So start by just raising the heel of one foot and then come up using the power of one leg. But you've still got the other foot on the floor, but it's just on the ball of your foot. And then come down and switch. And begin to become aware of whether or not you feel more comfortable coming up using one leg compared to the other. Now the arms can give you some assistance, so you can, and it doesn't mean to use the chair, but if you bring the arms forward, it's like a little bit of a weight, so it helps you. Can you now do that without the foot on the floor? Oh. One leg only. Is one leg not very happy? If you found one leg that's not working quite as well as the other one, then stay with the one that you need to work on. You can see there's a lot of this going on. Yeah. And I hope that after you've done a couple, you might find, A, you'll probably maybe get a bit tired, but you may have found one side is a lot weaker than the other. So there's your homework. Usually give you that at the end, but there it is. And release down. Wonderful. Stay seated just for now. And just drop your chin slightly in towards your chest, pull your tummy in and roll down towards the floor and just give your back a stretch out. Restack back on up. And I want you to really push into your feet so you feel your bottom switch on. It's as if you're about to stand, but you're not. Take one hand behind your chair, the other hand across your knee, and rotate. Don't let your legs move. Rotate and look over your shoulder. Come back through to center. And rotate the other way, look over your shoulder. Come back through to center and give yourself a little roll down. Restack. Now, extend one leg away. That's the leg that you're going to extend is the one you're turning away from. So you're going to rotate away from that extended leg. Are you still sitting on your pumped up tires? Come back to center. Extend the other leg away and rotate. And come back. Continue to do that because sometimes it's a little tricky to extend that leg, and when you extend your leg, to not actually lean back into your chair, to actually be able to stay right up on your sit bones as you extend and rotate, so you're not leaning back. And if you are leaning back, as you extend your leg, rather than place it across your leg, maybe just hold under the leg that you're extending to give it some support. And then we'll do that one more time, bringing yourself down, take your feet a little wider and give yourself a little roll down. Don't forget to pull your tummy up before you come back up to initiate. Fabulous. Use your monkey squat to bring yourself off your chair. You can pop your chair to one side and I'll give you time now to bring yourself down onto your mat. If you're using towels or bands, then maybe that will be helpful, especially for doing any of the leg circles. So we'll just engage there. So coming down onto your mat, think of coming down through your monkey squat, if you're not already down. So you want to come down through your monkey squat and come down onto your knees and then come down into sitting. Okay. All right, so we want to organise what equipment you have. If you have towels that you need under your back or your head, and your band. And you're going to place your band around your feet. If you don't have a band today, then just hold under your thighs. We are using the band quite a lot on within the Zoom classes, so if you've not got one, maybe use a long scarf, but if you can get a band, then it's something worth just adding to your little pieces of small equipment. So let's take a seat up as you inhale, and as you exhale, you're tucking your tailbone under to go into your C curve, but pushing out slightly into the band with your feet. Now, if you're not using the band, you're just pushing the legs down into your hands a little. And then roll back up to sit. Go down into your C curve, look down towards your navel, and then roll gently back up. So of course this movement is all about opening up into your back, strengthening through the tummy so that you can use it as a transition to the floor, whether you use a band or not, and it's always useful for your roll up. If you're not doing roll up today, I'd like you just to continue with this, the half roll back and the half roll up. If you're happy to go into full roll down today, go all the way down onto your mat. And then drawing the chin in, raise head, neck and shoulders and roll yourself back up. But we're coming back to an upright position. So coming back to that upright position and then rolling back again. So the focus very much on the movement through your spine and your tummy, rather than stretching out over your toes today, and lift up. So we'll do that one more time, rolling back. Always with control. And roll down now and stay down. Slide your legs in, take your band away but keep it handy. And we have now where you have head down or head lifted. It's a head down versus head lifted. So don't feel you have to raise your head. So if you are raising your head, draw your chin in, lift from your breastbone, and then feet down versus feet up. Knees bent versus legs extended. And legs extended to the ceiling versus a little lower down. So choose your option and start to bump your arms. Inhale, 4, 5. Exhale, 4, 5. Squeeze your legs together regardless of where you have them. If your neck begins to tire when it is up, you can, of course, always pop it down. And likewise with your legs, if they're getting tired in an extended position, just bring them back to tabletop or even back down to the floor. So you're back, right back at foundation level towards the end maybe. So last 10. And then bring yourself back down. I'd like you to stretch your legs and your arms away. And then resettle on your back. Okay. So when we're doing your leg circles here, I'd like you just to raise one leg just for a moment in tabletop and place your hand on your thigh bone. So it's a fully extended arm. And what I'd like us to do before our leg circles is I'd like you to push your hand into your leg as if you're trying to push it away. But I want you to bring your leg and pull it in. And as you feel that force, hold it for a count of 10. And it's quite a quick count, but not, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's, a nice, easy count. And then let it relax, maybe put it down, and then do that again. Bring the leg up, push it into the hand, but push the hand out into your leg. Tighten into your tummy. And again, for around about a count of 10, and then just relax it out, and you're going to do that one more time. A little bit of force there. If I were with you, it would be my hand that would be on your knee. And then let it relax, and you're going to change and do the same on the other leg. So push the leg into the hand, push the hand into the leg, and just hold it there. Again, a count of 10. Whilst you're still breathing, of course. And then do that again. And then release. And last time. And let everything just relax. Now bring your first leg back up. Hold under your thighs. Now you're going to try and bring your knee towards your chest, but I want you to push your leg out into your hands. So the leg is pushing out, the hands are pulling in again for that count of 10. And then let the leg just relax. And then do that again. So we're doing this 3 times. Now it's called a Pnf stretch. And it's a trick of the muscle. And release. So each time you release and go back into the stretch, the fibers have just lengthened slightly. And you get a greater range of movement. So let's go to the other side. You're holding under your thigh, you're pushing the leg out, but you're pulling in, so there's that force. And then just relax it. You can do this with any muscle group. And just one more time. And then you're going to let the leg relax out. Take hold of your band and place it around your first leg again, but this time around your foot. Make sure your foot is cradled. Leg is extended, arms extended, and then pull the elbows in. The second leg, stretch that out unless you feel it's awkward, and then of course you can keep it slightly bent, but try to have your leg that's in the air straight, even if it's a little lower and it's not right up at 90 degrees. Shoulders are down as you cross the midline of your body. Circle your leg around. And when you do these circles, of course, every time you revisit these movements, you should be mentally making a note of any tightness that you feel, so that the next time you do the move, you can see whether there's been any change. So if you are very familiar with leg circles, just notice if it feels any different having done those 2 Pnf stretches. And then take it the other way. The range of movement, of course, is your range. I actually have quite a big range in my hip here, so if you're following the recording, don't feel you've got to make your leg pattern as big as mine. It might actually be a really small circle for you. Let's switch legs. And this leg straight or slightly bent. And you cross the midline of the body and circle around. So as long as the rest of your body is staying still, shoulders are down, pelvis is still as you circle. If you're only coming in on a Friday, just to let you know that on Tuesday I actually observed the class, so I didn't do it, I just watched you all. I'm not doing that today, but I will be doing it next week. I shouldn't really tell you that, should I? Suddenly get emails saying, sorry, I'm not here today. But it does give me an opportunity to have a quick check that you're all okay. And then bring the knees in, because at the end of the day, you only need to have my voice. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to have a visual just to make sure that what you're hearing is correct. But it's also important for me to check you to make sure you're okay. And I miss looking at you, I have to say. I miss going around and making sure you're working correctly. So let us come back down onto the floor, feet are down. We're going to stay on our back, and I'd like us to just think of, actually, let's use your band. Let's pop your band over your hips and have the band fairly short, but at shoulder width. So what you don't want is the band to be baggy on, between your hands. Have a little bit of tension. Nothing strong, just a little bit of tension. And shoulders are placed down. Feet are flat on the floor. You're going to raise the arms towards the ceiling, but watch that they're staying down on your mat. And as the arms go behind, keep your rib cage down. Watch that you're not allowing your ribs there to pop up. And then you're raising the arms back up and back to the legs. So the band just touches the legs. If you've not got a band today, you're going full range, taking the arm right down to the floor. And then going up and over with a slight tension on the band, slight pull on the band. So this activates your muscles in the arms. When we work without a band, it's easy just to take the arms overhead and not really feel them working. Whereas when you've got a band in your hand or a weight in your hand, you do get a sense that the muscles, especially in the back of your arm and your triceps, are stretching and working. So as you take the arms over your head next time, keep your tummy tight and stretch one leg out. Check that your back isn't lifting, and then come back to center. Now, as long as you're breathing, that's fine. So you might think of breathing in as you extend away, or you might feel it's better to breathe out as you extend away and the reverse to come in. Play about with the breath, and you'll find that a certain breath pattern may help you, whether it's the in or the out breath, it may help you to keep more stable. So we're going to take this a step further, but not two legs. I'd like you to raise the legs up into tabletop. Knees and feet together, and feel your back is down. If you need to bring your feet down, please take them down. Don't struggle with them up in the air. Take your arms back up towards the ceiling, so we're in dead bug position. And as your arms go back, extend one leg away. Don't take it all the way to the floor. And then come back. Now the arms, the band, may just come now in front of your knees. And then extend away. And pull in. Trying to do this, folks, without moving your spine. So good tightening in your tummy there. You can always take a rest at any time and then rejoin. Tummy in. Make sure you're getting full extension in the leg, and we're doing two more. Last one. And then bring your legs back down and pop your band to one side. Take your arms out to your side, feet and knees together. And we're going to go into your hip roll. So just for the benefit of those of you rejoining the class and those joining the class, of course, the hip roll, I've been just indicating that the hip roll is now, we want to be focusing on these hip bones. And if you raise one of your hip bones towards the ceiling, feel as though it's being hoiked up towards the ceiling, And that is what initiates your hip roll. It's not your legs just dropping to the side. You initiate by lifting the hip and then taking the pelvis over. So go ahead and roll your hips by initiating at the hip bone. And then of course it's your hip bone that you're pulling back to come back into neutral. So you're raising the hip up and then taking it across. And then pulling it back. Now it is only really a small movement to get into that little tricky area that's the end of your thoracic spine. So this is your little educational part here. Your thoracic spine has 12 vertebrae and it starts right at the top of your neck. So when you are rotating from your pelvis, you are only rotating right down between thoracic 8 to 12, even lower sometimes. So you're not moving this thoracic 1 at the top of your neck to thoracic 6 or 7, just under your ribs. You're moving just 8 to 12. And they are rotating. They're the only vertebra that rotate. Your lumbar area, which is your pelvis, does not rotate. So you're taking that whole pelvis plus 5 lumbar vertebrae, which are really big. And you're taking them around by moving through the midsection of your back. Your lumbar area, which we will come to in a moment, only flexes and extends. So come back to center, take your feet a little wider and go into your soft imprint. And now you are opening up the 5 lumbar vertebrae right down below where you've just been rotating. And then back into neutral. We sometimes get a little bit confused with that hip roll because I'm sure a lot of you have been given the hip roll maybe from physios or osteopaths in order for rehabilitation, and they will give it as a stretch for this muscle here. Well, that's great if it's for a stretch, to be able to go all the way and just allow this area to really stretch out. But what you're not getting is the rotation. And hip roll that we do is for rotation, it's not a stretch. So when we go into your pelvic tilt again, let's go into your bridge. So we go into your pelvic tilt, tighten your bottom, start to lift your hips up. And once you're up in your bridge, I would like you to think that now your spine is set. So you can't come down vertebra by vertebra now, you have to come down as one unit. So bring your bottom straight down and take your bottom straight back up again. Take the bottom straight down and lift it back up. And as you're lifting the hips, the bottom should be getting a little tighter each time. The head not moving. And we do one more. And hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little rock there. Maybe circle your knees around. And folks, what we're going to do here is we're going to go straight over onto our tummy now. So allow yourself to settle over onto your tummy. Bring yourself around, maybe pop your towels where you can rest your head. And when you lie down on your tummy, place your head to one side. So I'm going to presume you're all going to be turning your head towards the screen here. Okay. All right. And place your legs into a parallel position. So all your toes are resting on the floor. Okay. And your arms are going to be either by your side, just collapsed by your side, or in the W position, whichever feels more comfortable for your shoulders. Okay, so everything feels really quite relaxed there at the moment on the floor. Okay, so your feet are in your parallel, and think about your pelvis. Pubic bone and your hip bones. I'd like you just to pull your pubic bone towards your navel. And it's as if you're trying to lift your belly button just off the floor a fraction. And then let it just relax. Let everything just relax around your ribs, around your tummy. And then pull pubic bone to navel again. Feel what that does in your back. And then let it relax. So if you had a piece of string or cotton or elastic right on your tailbone, as you go into pubic bone to navel, that elastic should feel as though it's pulling towards your heels and it's lengthening your back. And as it relaxes, the back shortens, because the belly is relaxing onto your mat. And then as you pull pubic bone to navel, you might even find that your head moves a little down towards your feet, just slightly on your cheek. So once you've engaged pubic bone to navel, keep it engaged. Tighten the thigh muscles of your legs, so your feet are now just pressing slightly down on the floor. And consciously tighten your bottom a little more. Now I'd like you just to bring your head off your mat and bring it to center, so you're looking down at the floor. If your arms are by your side, what I'd like you to do now is allow the arms to lift off the floor and squeeze the shoulder blades gently together. If your arms are in W, just be conscious of bringing your shoulders away from your ears. Now, keeping everything engaged that you've just engaged, tummy, legs, shoulders, take a breath in to raise your breastbone. Don't use your arms. Exhale as you lower. Now keep it quite a small movement. Inhale as you lift. And exhale as you lower. Now keep this going. I want you to imagine you've got a collar around your neck, like a shirt collar around your neck. I'm stood over you, and I've got hold of the back of your collar. And I'm pulling you up from your collar, and the collar is glued to the back of your neck. So it's the back of your neck that is lifting and lowering. It's not changing shape. So you're picking the weight of your head up and you're lifting the collarbone, but you're lifting from the back of your collar. And as you inhale, lift your breastbone. If your arms are by your side, they will already be off the floor. If your arms are in W, Can you raise one or both arms without creating any unnecessary tension in your back? Now begin to raise. If you're raising one arm, it's the opposite leg to the arm. If you're raising both arms, you're just raising alternate legs. It doesn't matter which one you lift first. And as soon as you start feeling any discomfort coming into that low back, take the arm pattern away if you're in W. Take the leg pattern away and see if that makes it a little better in how it feels. It should feel that you're working, but there shouldn't be anything that your gut is saying, I'm not sure about this. We're doing that one more time on, or a couple more times, just for those doing opposite arm to leg there. And then let's push up either onto your hands and knees into shell, or go onto your side and hook your knees in. You want to go into whichever rest position is good for you. And then we're going to come onto our side, facing the screen. Let us just support the head for now on your towel, which is always an option. The sideline position is always an option to be down here rather than propped up on the elbow. And certainly if your back is a little fragile, doing side bends and stuff, it might be something that you want to just be careful of until the back is settled again. So being on your side in this position is always a good position to go into so that you're doing something but not propped up on your elbow, which is where we'll go in a minute, not just now. So your hips are stacked, tummy engaged. Okay. And we're going to bring this top hand and just place it where the fingers are just touching your ears, elbow to the ceiling. If you've got a good range in your shoulder and you don't end up hunching, then you could put that hand to the back of your head. But just in this position, sort of like a salute position is fine. Okay. Now I'd like you to rotate from your rib cage. Pull your ribs around and allow the elbow to start going back. But send your top knee slightly forward. And allow your head to just turn. Can you still see your elbow? If your elbow has gone too far back, just bring it back slightly. And then pull back from your ribs and let the elbow face the screen. Raise the elbows like it's your opening of the door. And then rotate, send that top knee slightly forward and hold it there. Stretch your top leg out. Now get a feel that I'm there. I've got hold of your foot and I'm trying to pull it forward. So you're reaching that foot to the screen. You're looking back towards your elbow. As the elbow comes back, your ribs come back, the leg comes back. So you're opening the elbow. Start to rotate from your ribs, look back at your elbow and stretch that top leg out. and then bring everything back into place. I'm going to do that just a few more times. Open the elbow, turn your head, rotate, reach out with your toes, and pull back. I'm hoping that you're beginning to go just a fraction further each time. Don't force yourself back. Just notice by doing the action that the range of movement increases a little. We never want to go to where you're going right now on the very first one. Otherwise there would be no room for improvement. And pull back. Okay, stay here if you prefer not to come up on your elbow today. If you're okay to come up, then bring yourself up onto your elbow. And you're lifting your waistline. So we could be here and extend the top leg out, lying flat or here with the hip down, or raise the hip and take the top leg out. Raise the top arm over your head. And if you feel very strong today, take the bottom leg out as well. And you're holding it there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring everything back in and release down. We're going to do all of that on the other side, so bring yourself around. We're going to do that little rotation stretch. So we're down on your side here. Nice long back. Knees stacked. If you have a look at your knees, that top knee should be right on top of your bottom knee. And if it is, you'll know your pelvis is in the right place. Your top hand just in your salute position. Okay. And rotate from your ribs and just pull back. Don't do anything with your legs just yet, but make sure that top knee is just sliding forward a little bit. And then come back to let the elbow release. And then open again through the chest, turn the head as you rotate. Send the knee slightly forward. And now stretch that top leg out. Feel that I'm pulling your leg towards the screen. And then you come all the way back. Let's open again in your own time. Don't force your movement. Stretch the leg out as you're rotating and begin to notice how the range of movement improves gradually. We're doing a couple more. Like any of these moves that we do where we're observing increased ranges, it never fails to amaze me how much you can improve with gentle movement. I don't know why I'm surprised, because I know it works, but it does always still make me in awe of what the body is capable of. And then push up onto our elbow. or lie on your side if you're keeping on your side. Of course, it's all about engaging into your center and into your waistline. So whichever position you're choosing, it's all about this bracing around into your center. So taking the top leg out with the hip down if you need to have the hip down, or with the hip lifted. Taking the arm, reaching it out, and if you're feeling strong, take the bottom leg out, otherwise keep the knee down. And just hold it there now, lifting your waist for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring everything back down. And if you go into your rest position again, whichever is your rest position or release position, okay. Now I hope you didn't put your chairs too far away, because I'd like you to bring your chairs back out. So bring yourself up, remember how to come up. So a few of you jump off the floor now. Okay. And you're going to have the chair facing you. So once you've got your chair facing you, you're going to go into your monkey squat. So you can place the hands onto your chair. And then you're going to come down onto your knees. Now, depending on which chair you're using, will depend on where you place your hands. So if you've got a chair that you can maybe grab hold of, then grab hold of it. It may be a chair that's just material there, and you might have to have a flat hand on. So dependent on your chair, I'm just turning this around just to give you an idea of what your hands are doing here. So when you've got your hands on your chair, either to the side or on the top, yeah. But you want to have it sufficiently so when you take your knees back, you're able to send your elbows out and you're bringing your breastbone to the chair. Now, stay there when you're at the chair. Pull pubic bone to navel. Really pull up, pubic bone to navel. Don't let your back collapse. And push up. Bend the elbows, lower the breastbone towards the chair. Now if this is hurting your knees, if you place a towel under your shins, you won't have quite so much pressure on the knee. The feet will be off the floor, but you won't have quite so much pressure on the knee. Okay. The feet don't have to be on the floor. Now we could cross the feet over and lift the feet, pulling pubic bone to navel. Whenever you need to take a little break, just take a seat back and go into a release position. Of course, if you're always doing full press-ups, you could just take the chair away and just go ahead and do your press-up on the floor. But I wanted to use the chair today because I just find it's a really nice way of isolating that into the arms. You're probably able to do a lot more than you do when you're on the floor. And I actually feel that this is sort of be in between the floor and the wall. So, yeah, but make sure your pubic bone is really pulled up towards your navel, and then take a little break when you need to. Remember, we're only looking at doing around about 10 repetitions, taking a break, maybe doing another 10 at that level, and then taking a break, and then maybe doing a few more. But if we do it on the chair, I'm hoping that it'll strengthen the muscles up in the arms a little bit more, so when we do it on the floor, you see an improvement. So should we do another set? Let's do for another set. I quite like these. Okay, so we're inhaling down and exhaling up. Let's do it for the weekend. Inhale and exhale up. And 3. And 4. Of course, you've got to make sure the chair is really steady on the floor there. And a bit of health and safety there. Don't want anybody face planting. And I don't know about you, but I'm coming up to 10 now. So maybe taking a little rest, but once you've taken that little release there, come back up to bring one leg forward. Take yourself into your monkey squat position and up to stand. Maybe just pop the chair just to one side whilst we finish here. Back in your neutral position. Like to take a breath in as you raise your arms. As you exhale, just roll down through your spine to release. Oh yeah, I don't want you to have moved your chair too far away, because as you restack back up, I would like you just to do a quick check. Because of what you've been doing, just have a quick check. Let's bring the chair back in and do a quick check on those single legs again. So when you're sitting and you come down onto your seat, maybe start again just with one heel just slightly off the floor. So it's not flat, it's just off the floor. And take yourself into that movement, maybe take it onto the other side, and then give yourself a go with the leg off the floor. Notice if there's any change, if you feel there's any sort of change there. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, my leg is really weak on that left side. I really must do more on that. Okay, so there's your homework for this week, folks. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you all next week. Have a lovely weekend.